You think you're good at reading people. You notice tone. You notice behavior. You trust your instincts. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Fake people don't expose themselves with obvious lies. They expose themselves in ways your brain is trained to ignore. And that's exactly why they get away with it, because the signs aren't loud. They're subtle, consistent, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. By the end of this video, you won't just understand fake people. You'll start noticing patterns most people completely miss. And more importantly, you'll understand why you've been missing them this whole time. Because spotting fake people isn't about intelligence, it's about awareness. And there's one pattern, one behavior that almost every fake person relies on. But it's the last thing people ever question. We'll come back to that. Fake people are rarely rude. In fact, they're often extremely kind, at least in the beginning. They compliment you, they support you, they make you feel seen, and that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Because your brain associates kindness with safety, so you lower your guard. You open up faster, you trust quicker. But here's what most people don't notice. Their kindness has a pattern. It appears when they need something and fades when they don't. Think about it. Have you ever had someone who was incredibly present until you stopped being useful? At first, everything feels natural. They check on you, they show interest, they invest time. Then slowly, messages take longer, energy feels different, effort disappears. No explanation, no clear reason, just a quiet shift. That's not random. That's transactional behavior. Real people value you. Fake people value access. And once access is gone, so are they. Now here's where it gets more subtle. Fake people don't have a fixed identity. They adapt constantly. Around one group, they act confident. Around another, they act humble. With you, they mirror your beliefs. At first, it feels like connection, like you've found someone who understands you. But what you're actually seeing is reflection, not authenticity, because mirroring is one of the fastest ways to build trust, and fake people use it intentionally. They study what you like. They notice how you think. They adjust themselves accordingly, not because they relate, but because it benefits them. And over time, something strange happens. You start noticing inconsistencies, different opinions in different situations, different personalities in different rooms, different values depending on who's watching, and you begin to feel confused because the person you trusted doesn't feel consistent anymore. That's because they're not being real. They're being strategic. A real person stays relatively the same across environments. A fake person adjusts based on advantage. Here's a test most people fail without realizing it. If someone constantly talks about others behind their back, what makes you think you're the exception? Fake people use gossip as social currency. It builds quick connection. It creates a sense of closeness. It makes you feel included, like you're part of something private. But there's a hidden cost. Every time they reveal someone else's flaws, they're showing you their character. Because trust doesn't disappear suddenly. It erodes slowly, and gossip accelerates that process. At first, it feels harmless, even entertaining, but over time, you start noticing a pattern. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a flaw. Everyone becomes a topic, and eventually, you will too. Real people protect reputations. Fake people trade them. Now pay close attention to this next one, because this is where fake behavior becomes difficult to hide. Watch what happens when your life improves. Not dramatically, just slightly. You become more confident. You make progress. You start doing better. At first, nothing seems different. But then, their reactions begin to change. Support becomes quieter. Excitement feels forced. Encouragement fades. And sometimes, you notice subtle negativity. Small comments disguised as jokes. Passive responses. A lack of enthusiasm where there used to be energy. And it leaves you wondering, did I do something wrong? No, you didn't. What you're seeing is comparison. Fake people don't measure connection. They measure status. And when your growth challenges their self-image, their behavior changes. Jealousy rarely looks like anger. It often looks like distance. But here's where most people misunderstand everything. They think fake people are the problem. They're not. The real problem is why we keep trusting them. Because your brain is not designed to detect fake people. It's designed to maintain relationships. It avoids conflict. It seeks harmony. It protects emotional comfort. So when something feels slightly off, you ignore it. You rationalize it. You tell yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe it's just a bad day. And in doing that, you silence your own awareness. Because accepting the truth comes with a cost. It means changing how you see someone, and that's uncomfortable. So your brain chooses comfort over clarity. Fake people are often very good with words. They say exactly what you want to hear. They promise loyalty. They promise support. They promise honesty. And in the moment, it feels real because words create emotion. They make you feel secure. They make you feel valued. But here's the shift that changes everything. Words are temporary. Patterns are permanent. Anyone can say the right thing once. Very few people can repeat the right behavior consistently. So instead of asking yourself, what did they say? Start asking, what do they always do? Because behavior repeated over time is the clearest form of truth. Now let's go deeper. Many fake people don't just want connection. They want validation constantly. They need attention, recognition, approval. You'll notice it in small ways. They redirect conversations back to themselves. They exaggerate experiences. They seek reactions because without attention, their identity feels unstable. And when validation becomes the goal, authenticity becomes optional. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need constant reinforcement, but fake confidence needs an audience. Now here's the clearest test of all. Pay attention when things go wrong in your life. Not when everything is easy, not when everything is going well, but when you actually need support. Because that's where truth shows up. Fake people are present for convenience, not for commitment. They show up when it's enjoyable, when it's light, when it's easy. But when things become difficult, they slowly disappear. No confrontation, no explanation, just distance. And you're left wondering what changed. Nothing changed. You just stopped being convenient. Now remember earlier, I mentioned there's one pattern most people completely miss. This is it. Fake people don't fail because they lie. They fail because they can't stay consistent. Consistency is the one thing you cannot fake long term. You can fake kindness for a moment. You can fake interest for a while. You can fake loyalty temporarily. But you cannot fake patterns over time. Eventually, the gaps appear. The contradictions show. The truth becomes visible. Not in what they say, but in what they repeatedly do. So if you really want to understand people, stop focusing on moments. Start focusing on patterns. Because fake people reveal themselves through inconsistency, shifting identity, hidden jealousy, transactional behavior, and disappearing when it matters most. Not instantly, but inevitably. And once you begin to see this, something changes. You stop ignoring red flags. You stop overvaluing words. You stop chasing people who were never real to begin with. And for the first time, you start seeing people clearly, not as they present themselves, but as they actually are. If this changed the way you see people, that means your awareness is growing. And that's where real understanding begins. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing for more content that helps you understand human behavior on a deeper level. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.